Hey, it's Jenny here from Jenny's Mask Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make a relaxed box face mask for adults. You can also do this for the children's masks, so I'm going to just show you how, walk you through what I do on one of my masks that I make for friends, family, ones that I sell on my Etsy site, and that can be found on jennysmask.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first take my nose casing. So you're going to need a piece of fabric that's 2 inches by 6 inches, and that's going to be the part where your nose wire goes in here at the top, okay? And then you're going to need a piece of fabric for the back of your mask and a pretty piece of fabric for the front. You're going to need some ties. So this is swimsuit fabric that I've cut. I cut it a little less than an inch. I cut it 7/8 of an inch, and that way when it's pulled, it fits through my pony beads. So this tie is 32 inches long. Got my materials, got my beads, ready to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my tie casing. I'm going to fold the ends over about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack down the sides. I'm going to sew here and then down here. So this is the part that your wire is going to slide into. It's going to be open on either side when you have it sewn in there. That way your wire can be removable. So if you have a wire in here that, you know, maybe you don't want it to be, maybe you want to change it out, you don't want it to be permanent, or you want to take it out to wash it, you can do that. You can just remove your wire out through here, and then you can take it out, wash it, and put it back in. That's why I like this design, is that it has a spot for a removable wire. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our backing fabric, lay it down with the long side at the top. You can see how the sides down here go in steeper. That's so that it forms to your face better. And then I'm going to take my new nose casing, center it at the top, and then I'm going to just stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom of my tie casing, nose casing. So now once I have that in place, I can do the top of my mask. So I'm going to just line things up, sandwich it together. Got the top of my mask here, all lined up. And if you do a good cutting job, this is really easy. Sometimes I like to just give it a little press just to get everything lined up perfectly. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way around, but we're going to want to leave a space open for us to turn our mask right side out. So what somebody in our group does is they leave a gap in the middle here open, so it's really easy when you want to close up your edge. You don't have to worry about getting your corners to line up or anything. So that's what I like to do. So I'm going to just start part way into the bottom part of my mask, and then I'm just going to go all the way around until I get back to the bottom. And I'm going to just use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And going to stop 1/4 inch from the side, turn my presser foot, turn, I'm back to the side that I started on. So I didn't go all the way across the bottom. It's easier to see on here. So see how I stopped and left this middle part open because that's the part so I can turn it right side out. Before I do that though, I need to clip the corners so there's not as much bulk when you turn it right side out. So just go ahead, clip your corners, don't clip your stitching. Okay. Okay. Right side out. Give it a little shake here. Okay, and then I just use this chopstick to get my corners out. And then I have this tool called the Purple Fang, and it's got a flat little edge on it for pushing seams out. So I'm just going to kind of get it loosely pushed out. You can see all my corners, and then I take this little tool here, and then I can just kind of go right up into those corners and get them kind of poked out. Because if you use something round, you can't get such square corners, but you don't want to use something too pokey because it will just poke through your seams. So somebody designed this, they're genius. So I'm just going to get all my corners poked out. Okay, and now I'm going to press it and tuck in the bottom seams here so that you won't see them. See how nice that is? See if you can see that. So I've got all my seams all pressed out, and then I'm just going to press it, and then I'll top stitch. Okay, I'll put it this way so it's a little easier to see. Okay, so I'm just going to top stitch around about 1/8 of an inch. And you just got to be careful that you don't sew too far down on the top, because if you do, you will not be able to get your nose wire in. So that's why I usually do around 1/8 of an inch. And I always, when I top stitch, I always top stitch on this side so that I can see where my nose casing is. If I'm doing it on this side, then it's more likely that I could run too far down into my nose casing. And I usually just let the outside edge of my mask go kind of right center in between my 1/4 inch foot there, so then I can use that as a judge. I'm gonna go around all my corners. bottom edge there that we had left open. Okay. There you go. We've top stitched all the way around. There's the outside of our mask, the inside of our mask. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make an envelope. We're going to be folding up the bottom, and we're going to just fold at those corners, okay? And then we're going to fold down. And again, you're just going to fold at the corners. Right at the corners. And then if you want to check to make sure that you folded them the same, you can fold it in half, and then you can see if your ends line up. And then you're going to press it. Now for the relaxed box mask, the next thing we're going to do is go straight to our tie casing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold over the sides, give them a press. I'm going to pin them in place. When I'm doing this really quickly, I don't pin it, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to pin it. Fold this one over, press. Okay. And I'll show you what that looks like. So now you can see, you just want to make sure that when you fold over your sides that you can see these little triangles. The reason why you want to see these triangles is so that when you do the next step, when you fold up the sides of your flaps to make it that 3-dimension, you want to make sure that you still have room to do that. So you can see I can still fold open the sides of my flaps. Now, what will happen if you have that, sorry, I got something in my eye. What will happen if you have that tie casing too big? Let me just show you. So let's say you fold it like that. You don't really have a triangle. Now, when you go to try to flip up your sides, you can barely, you can see how it does not go all the way to the top like it should. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you make that casing just a little bit smaller so that now you can flip that top up like that. And what you're going to do is you're just going to try to make it parallel with your tie casing. And then you're going to be folding down the bottom as well. So another thing that you can do is you can put your ties in before you do your before you sew your tie casings, or you can do it afterwards. So generally I don't know, I go back and forth, but for demonstration, I'm going to put my tie in, I'm going to close it up, and then I'm going to stitch down right close to the edge of the flap. Back stitch. Okay, so that's closed. I'm going to repeat on the other side. Now you can see, so here's the top of my mask. So I'm going to leave the long ends. So my U of my ties are going to go down the bottom, and then they're going to be coming up to the top, because I like to have my, so you can see an example here, I like to have my adjustable pony bead at the top in the back of my hair, so it's easier to adjust than down at the bottom. So we're just going to do our casing on the other side. I'm going to put my tie down, fold over, almost done. Okay, so I've got my ties in, I've got my casings done, and now I just have to do my folding. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this down close so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to fold the top up like that. I'm going to clip it, okay, and then I'm going to fold the bottom down. You can see it's going to kind of pull, because it's going to be making that 3D shape. So I'm going to pull that over, and as best as I can, I'm going to line up the bottom corner with the bottom edge of my mask there. So I'm just going to pin that in place. And then what I like to do is I like to fold my mask in half and make sure that my folds are symmetrical. So I fold that in half, and then I can match my top folds to the bottom. I hope that makes sense. So now I can pin that one in place. So now I can see I matched it up, and now it's folded the same. So now I can just clip that, and then I'm just going to clip this one up, and then I'm going to sew my flaps down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sew right inside of my tie casing there. And get your ties out of the way. Okay, and it's meant to hang down some. But just, you can try to just kind of line those edges up. Okay, now we just have to put our bead in, and we're done. Takes a lot longer to explain how to do it than actually doing it. So now we're just going to put our bead in, and then we'll be finished. So I'm just going to use a white bead here. You're going to put your end of your tie in your bead. I have this little tool that I push my tie in, but you can use a skewer or whatever you have, or just cut your tie at an angle. So there's my one side, and then I'm going to I like to put my ties in through opposite directions into the bead. So then I don't have like this like ponytail of a tie sticking out. It just hangs more nicely. So one thing that some people in our group are doing is called the burrito method. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your tie, so your opposite tie, you're going to kind of wrap it in there. Can you see that? Is it focused? And then you're going to just pull it through. There you go. You're going to tie a knot in the ends. And then you're just ready to add your nose wire. So you can buy these commercially made nose wires. Some of them are sturdier than others. This one is a little bit better, but you still have to remove it when you wash it, and it's still, it will break and it gets kind of mangled when you use it. So I still use these soft garden ties. I cut them to 3.5 inches, and then so that there's no ends pokey out, what I do is I kind of push, I've already done this, but I push the plastic away and then trim off the metal in there so that the metal starts, you know, further in, so it's not gonna, so it's all soft on the end. It's not gonna poke you. But also when you have this nice fabric nose casing, it's pretty thick and it extends way beyond your wire, so it's protected in there, and it doesn't go anywhere. You just can't iron the top of your mask when you have this in it, because it is covered in plastic and it will melt, but you can wash it just fine. So you're just going to stick your wire in. Use whatever you have, center it, and there you go. To put it on, I put the bottom strap over my head, put under my hair, and then I put the top strap over. Now before I tighten it, I like to get my nose wire adjusted. Now you see how it's loose down here? You don't want that. So you want to pull your ties kind of out and up so that it tightens this one back here. And then once you have it tightened back there, you can make sure you can hear me okay, then you can pull your ties apart. So you just pull them apart like that, and it holds its place. And I don't like to have mine on the outside of my hair like this, so I just, once I have it adjusted, I can pull it down, pull it out, pull my hair out. I like it because I can keep it handy. I can keep it around my neck, so I have it when I need it, and it just kind of looks like a cute bandana when I'm not wearing it on my face. And then when I need to put it up, I just lift it up right over my ears like that. Super simple. I love this. It doesn't fog up my glasses when I do wear glasses or sunglasses. It's got great coverage under my neck, the sides of my face, up here, and you do want to see some, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you do want to see some movement when you breathe, because that means you've got a good seal. But it doesn't make me feel claustrophobic, and I feel really well covered and protected, and that's what we need, right? It's scary times, and making masks has really helped me, and I hope that these masks and these videos have helped you, and I'd love to hear how it's going, how your mask making is going, and any tricks that you have found that make this process go smoother. And if you have any questions, just reach out, and I'd love to hear from you. And take care, and I'll see you next time.